Hello and welcome to today's episode of Navigating the Water, where I'm joined again by our fabulous host, Stephanie Mckinney, who is also CEO and founder of River VC. Stephanie, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Kim?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. A little bit nervous, it has to be said, because today's is a bit of a different one, isn't it? I'm going to be taking you through my pack and getting some pointers and advice on whether or not it tells a story yet.
Yes, we are going to be taking Kim through her pitch deck. She's going to be showing us what her pitch deck looks like. She's generously come on earlier in one of the episodes, explained a little bit about what she's doing, and now we're going to see her pitch deck, which everyone would love to look at. Everyone would love to get in front. I talked about it in another episode, getting in front of people, talking about it before you go for your big fish. You really want to talk about it. You really want to review it. You want to get pointers. So I think this is a great place, a great community to have founders come in and say their pitch deck in an open environment, an inclusive environment where we're going to review it. And we're going to ask questions that you normally wouldn't want to ask in that meeting. And I'm really looking forward to it, Kim.
Thank you. Yeah, I am, but it's one of those, it's quite interesting. I was chatting to somebody earlier today. I do this for other people for a living. Yeah, when you come and do your own, it's sort of like, oh, that feels really, really different. And we were saying just the other day how you tell somebody, you give somebody advice and you hear yourself in your head going, why haven't you taken that? Why haven't you done that with your pack? It's good advice, yeah. So maybe you should look at it. So I am very appreciative of the opportunity to share it in this community and this safe space and get that feedback, because you kind of want that before you go out into the lion's den, don't you? facing the people that you're going to say, do you want to invest in this? Do you believe in it? So are we ready for me to get going?
Yes, let's get started.
Fab. So let me share my slides and then hopefully you can now see. So this is Mastermindset and it's all about leaving a legacy. And what we're really wanting to do with the Mastermindset piece is create the world's first virtual coach in an app. But let me explain a little bit more as we go through. And at this point, what I'm really looking for is to seek investment, to do the proof of concept, to prove that this actually can be done. So our purpose, we're a technology and innovation company of the 21st century. We're committed to empowering people to achieve success and leave a legacy they're proud of. For me, one of the most important things in life is that we are leaving a legacy, whether we like it or not. It's whether or not we're owning it. So what I want to be able to do is empower people to take control of that legacy and make sure that it's the one that they want to be leaving, that people leave the room thinking, talking and chatting about them in the way that they wanted to. Our vision is to provide a platform for ethical, responsible and life-changing growth. Our values are trust, integrity, ethical, inclusive, empowerment and innovation. And our mission is to champion the human spirit. I believe that every one of us is a miracle. And what we have to do is journey to find what's that miracle for and share that gift with the world. So what's the problem that we're trying to solve? So leadership is recognized to be one of the most challenging roles, and it's getting more challenging. So we think about the ever-evolving technology, the demands that are being put on organizations and on the people within them and the people that run them. It's getting noisier and noisier. Add to that the ongoing challenges around the economy, the pandemic and the challenges that gave us. We're finding that many people, many leaders are finding the need to have support, to have somebody to be able to go to. We're seeing a rise in mental health issues and anxiety, not just in our people, but in our leaders as well. But one of the things that we know is it's very hard as a leader to sometimes say that you need help. You don't want to go and tell the board because they might lose confidence in your ability. You don't want to tell your people because they're looking to you for support. But where do you go to get your support? And research has shown that 52% of C-suite leaders are doubting their ability to lead effectively right now. We see a lack of access to appropriate leadership training at all levels. And as we continue to operate in a highly technical world, the use of emotional intelligence is becoming a critical skill. We're moving into a world of augmented intelligence, so the need to get that perfect marriage between IQ, EQ, and AI artificial intelligence is crucial to our future success. And the other problem that we see is C-suite leaders won't ask for help for that fear of losing credibility. And if we don't change this, we've got a real challenge. So one of the things we may well have seen is there was the chairman of KPMG a couple of years ago was kind of quite rightly hauled over the coals for his outburst in front of people. But if you saw the pictures of him in the run up to that and the ones following, the level of anxiety and challenge that he must have been under at that time must have been horrendous. You know, somebody who reads faces, you could see that in those pictures. And it's things like that that's saying, how do we stop those from happening? How do we create a space where people can get the support they need in a confidential way, where they don't feel vulnerable to that piece? And that's really where our solution comes in. So Mastermindset is going to be the world's first app to use emotional intelligence and artificial intelligence to provide a virtual coach customized for you. So we're looking at using a variety of existing technology and new technology to be able to really understand what's going on with the individual. So you come along to an app or something on your desktop where you are chatting very similarly to this, maybe in a kind of like Zoom piece, but you're chatting with a virtual bot who can work with you on what you're saying, what your body language is saying, and ask you the right questions to help coach the answers out of you. This is at the coaching stage, so this is assuming that you have the answer within you. But as part of this solution, it will be able to signpost to people if they need to perhaps go and get a mentor or a counsellor or some other help if they're not able to find that answer themselves. We're using the latest technology combined with data science and proven questioning techniques to read and understand the individual so that we can help them achieve their goals. It could be anything from a career advice to even being that support that gets you from couch to 5K. It's just that person that's going to be able to be with you along the way and putting the power to upskill or overcome the objectives in the hands of the individual. And it creates a completely confidential space. It sometimes can be really hard to share with other people our most vulnerable challenges, but we're having a space where we're able to do that, where it's safe, the data, the information remains ours, it's not going out there for anybody else, can provide a really vital outlet for people to be able to start getting the support that they need. So the summary, we're looking at this stage for that stage 1 investment. We want to use that to build the minimum viable product, which I know, Stephanie, you've helped us understand what that is. So really starting to test that this is doable. We want to take that MVP through beta testing and use the data from that to do the proof of concept, to prove that actually it can work, that there is a market out there for it, that it delivers what we're expecting it to deliver. And at that stage, we want to come back and seek additional funding to be able to build the ultimate product and take that to market. So we're really looking at kind of launching in October of this year with our MVP, completing the beta testing of the MVP towards the end of the year, going into Q1 of next year, getting our proof of concept, and then really investing in our IP approval, implementing and devising the full launch, and then taking that to market at the end of Q2 2023, and working on the continuing ongoing development, looking at what are the new breakthroughs that we're getting in how we help people overcome whatever obstacles that are in their way. So at this stage, we're looking for that 250,000 seed to help us do the first stage, the proof of concept and the IP approval. I'm just going to pause for a second because I can't see if you've got anything you want to say to me now. Are you happy for me to continue?
No, of course, continue.
Cool. So I just want to check because I can only see my slides at the moment. So our milestones as we're kind of going through it is we've got the project initiation, we've created the concept, we've checked from a theoretical point of view, that this could be built, that the technology is out there. It's just not being used in this way yet. We're hoping that as we move into the next quarter, at the end of this quarter, that we can get the investment and obtain that to fund that proof of concept. That, as we say, as we end quarter 3, that we'll have that MVP created and launched into beta testing, and that we'll use Q4 as that proof of concept. So analysis of those beta test results and bringing the business case together to enable us to go back for the next round of investment and take the product to market. So I've built the board. We've got obviously the advisory board. It's myself and my business partner, Nat Schooler, who founded it. I'm the CEO of the organisation. Nat's doing the chief operating officer. And at the moment, we've got nobody in these roles, but this is the structure that we would be building. So somebody doing chief marketing, a CFO, chief commercial officer, and customer experience. But who are we doing it right now? So obviously you've got me. I'm one of the co-founders. I'm also a renowned master coach. I'm a best-selling author, speaker, and face whisperer. So it's the combination of this knowledge plus my 25 years in corporate life that we're going to use to help determine and underpin the data science and the technology around the questions that we're going to be asking. My business partner, Nat Schooler, he's a podcast host, best-selling author, and entrepreneur, and trusted advisor. So he brings a very different skill set towards this, but very much in that brand marketing and personal brand and mentoring space. So together we saw the opportunity and then started to build our advisory team. So we've been really fortunate with our advisory team so far. We've got the fabulous Nicholas Babin, who is really in that leadership, marketing and technology point of view. He's helping support us specifically from that marketing and technology piece, albeit he's got a wealth of experience in business and is also a member of the World Economic Forum's Experts Network. So brings just invaluable advice and support to help ensure that we're really thinking through what some of the challenges might be. I know that you've talked before, Stephanie, about the importance of making sure that we've got our lawyer. So we have. We've got the fabulous Chrissy Lightfoot. She's an independent NED chairwoman. She's a multi-award-winning entrepreneur and lawyer. So her whole specialism is in law, and her businesses have very much been in that law space. So she is really helping us, but she's also very much in that technology and pioneering space, so can give us real insight into some of the opportunities and some of the pitfalls along the way. We've then got the fabulous Tom Leonard, who's an internationally recognised marketing genius at Stanford University. He is a wealth of knowledge about business, about marketing, about how to ensure that we're understanding the problem that we're trying to solve and that we're thinking of it from their end point. Then we've got the fabulous Raj Sharma, who's an experienced AI and cyber security expert. He's actually helping us from that technology point of view. What would the technology look like, and helping us to get the team together that will actually build this proof of concept. And at the moment, we're still to fill the CFO role. So finding somebody who can do the advising for us on those financials. So this just kind of talks us through at a high level how we see the technology fitting together. So there's the layer around the knowledge, and then below that, the technology API. And then you can see that that would take it into the Mastermindset app, measures the data, taking it to the coach and streaming that to the big query. So we've gone through our strengths and weaknesses. So our strengths, we're visionary, we're trailblazers, we've got proven track record, ethical standards, good brand reputation, we've got marketplace credibility, and we understand the scalability of the product range and we've trademarked the brand. The weaknesses are we've got lack of working capital. Myself and Nat are consumed by business management and administration, so we're unable to be freed up to really work through that vision. And we've got a lack of key resources. from the opportunities, we've got the fulfillment of the vision, the philanthropic focus to pay it forward. So when we get this working, the ability to go and put this into third world countries that perhaps couldn't afford it for themselves and provide this kind of education and support is going to be invaluable. We're global spokespeople for ethical coaching, and consumer spending shift is moving to the purchase of knowledge. Obviously, the threats are, as in any business, act of God, financial stability whilst transitioning from our current state to the future state, and vulnerability to market, because there are relatively low barriers to entry for people to do something similar. When we think about the market opportunity, that's an estimated 15 billion in 2019 in coaching industry, with a total of 7.5 million pounds worth of market value in the US alone. It's expected that that will grow to 20 billion by the end of this year, and is already seeing a 6.7% average yearly growth. So it's certainly a growing market. One of the major differences, though, is that it's very segmented. It's very difficult to understand the size of the number of coaches that are out there. If we think about the statistics that came from the International Coaching Federation, they estimate there's 71,000 coaches globally. If you look at X-Monk, they estimated there was 5.8 million coaches, but according to LinkedIn, there's over 7 million coaches, 7 million people who have coach as their job title right now. So there's no real understanding of where those go. When we look at the market dynamics, we've really dug into a lot of different indicators to understand the personality needs and values of the people that would use this, and use that to help determine our customer avatar. So it's been built from extensive research into the market dynamics to ensure that we understand who it is that we're trying to help and can tailor it to them. And then when we look at the competitor, there isn't really anybody that's competing from this virtual coach space. There's quite a lot of apps and things that are out there, but not ones that are using the technology in the way that we suggest. But obviously other competitors will be your face-to-face coaches, those people that you can go to, like myself, and get regular coaching. We see that this is a real opportunity to augment those offerings and provide additional value to the people out there that are currently seeking help. And that's my pack. So I guess that's my pitch deck so far.
Yes, I love it. I love that you took us through the story, you took us through the problem and the need, and then you showed us the solution. I like when pitch decks really have that consistency of, this is why we're going to revolutionize the market, this is what we're doing, this is what the problem is, and so forth. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you a couple questions as a VC.
Yeah, that'd be great, please.
Okay, so what is your customer profile that you are seeing the most interest in?
So the one we're seeing the most interest in is probably that it's that middle management layer, where often they're not yet given a coach. So they kind of want to break through the glass ceiling. They want to get to that next stage, but they might not be in a position yet where they are going to have a coach given to them by the company. The company might not be in a position to pay for that. And therefore, what we see talking to a lot of CEOs and things is that they feel like they're kind of like struggling to identify the talent in that middle area. So what we're wanting to be able to do is, this obviously makes it a significantly more affordable piece. It's an app. So they're not having to pay for an actual coach to sit in front of them, but it's going to help them get through that middle layer and get ready to be board ready. So it's not the people that are there at the board already, but the layer below that, and the readiness for it is where we're seeing the most interest.
Perfect. And how long does it take you to talk to the customer and acquire the customer?
So we're hoping through the people we've got from beta testing at the moment, we've kind of identified a group. It didn't take me very long really to do that. It was reaching out to a few people in that space and going, would something like this help? If you could have access to a coach who could ask you the right questions. Because what we identify is, you ask a question of somebody and they go, oh, that really helped. It just unlocked my thinking. It made me think in a different way, which is basically what coaching is. So having someone that's going to be asking you those, what we need to do in the proof of concept, though, is really understand that's fine, because these are people that know us and trust us. So we've already got that relationship build. Is actually, what does that look like when we're going to go and talk to people that we don't know, that we haven't interacted with? How many times are we going to need to interact with them before they purchase it? And I think price will be a big part of that. At the moment, this is about proving the concept, but ultimately we want it to be really, really affordable, like, down to the no-brainer, less than a cup of coffee type pricing, rather than something where people are feeling like they've got to put a major investment in before they see a return.
Right. That was my other follow-up question, was what is your revenue model? So you have your business model, which is the whole, and then inside your business model is your revenue model. How are you guys going to generate? What's your subscription base? Do you pay for a customer? Do you pay for a company?
Yeah, so what we're looking at this stage is proving the concept that the app would work. And then what we're planning on doing, so we've not put a revenue profile in this pack because we're doing it at that pre-seed. But when we started looking at it and identifying what we think the size of the market is and how we could grow it, it would very much be on a subscription basis. So people would just subscribe every month. At the point that they don't see value in it anymore, that they would obviously cease to do so. But it's our job to ensure that they see value in it. And that's really going to be about the unique nature of the technology. We're confident that actually people will be thrilled and surprised with how much they get out of it, because it really is going to be using, I have to be careful, obviously clearly can't describe exactly what we're doing today, because that would be outside of NDAs, but it really is going to be a unique use of existing technology and the questioning technique that we have proven over the last 30 years. So we know that these work, and it's that combination so that people can go on either for like just for 30 seconds, every day, and say, what's my question of the day? What should I be asking myself? All the way through to actually, no, I want to spend half an hour or 45 minutes because I've got this problem. I just want to be able to sound it out, because we know sometimes we all have had this, whether we're leaders or not leaders, those moments where your whole thoughts, your mind is consumed with a particular thought and you cannot get past it. And yet the minute you say it out loud to somebody else, you're like, do you know what? It's okay. I've got this. I realized that was ridiculous. But even so, you'd spend the whole day like ruminating on it, getting yourself really, really angst about it and unsure where to go. So this is what we want in that app to be. And the reason we want it to be an app is most of us don't go anywhere without this in our hands. So it's always to hand. But that piece of going, actually, you'd just be able to have somebody to talk it through, or to help you, for example, reframe the thinking of that. Very often as human beings, neuroscientifically, we've proven that our emotional brain responds 24 times faster than our thinking brain. So we think we're dealing with the fact, but the reality is we're dealing with the emotion. So one of the key things we talk to people about is what's actually happening and what have you made it mean? Because you're over here on the what you've made it mean and dealing with the emotion of that, when actually we need to come back to the fact, which is this is what happened. And that can really help people, because when we move to what we've made it mean, we layer that onto all the other times we've made the same thing mean the same thing. And now we're not just dealing with this one issue, we're dealing with all our history of these issues, which can cloud our judgment and make us make bad decisions, or make us come up with the kind of the wrong choices that we want to take. So the idea of this is that would be there for you to be able to go in and go, yeah, I'm feeling triggered right now, feeling like someone's pushing all my buttons, and I just want to be able to spend a minute and just get it off my chest, see what's happening, and get some clarity. Because sometimes just asking those couple of questions get you through your emotional brain to your thinking brain, where you can make those rational choices.
Exactly. I don't want to spend too much time, being a VC and picking at your pitch deck, but how did you feel building it? What were your biggest challenges?
One of the bits I found really, really hard was, did it tell the story? So we'll all have had those books, haven't we? You read it and everything's going really, really well, and all of a sudden Eric turns up, and you're like, who's Eric? Where did Eric come from? And you end up feeling cheated because you have to go backwards to see, did he turn up? Oh no, he's just dropped in now. It's like, so making sure that the story actually reads like a story. And I've moved it around that much. Do I put the team here? Do I put them there? Do I juggle it around? So I listened with such interest to your previous episodes on this, where you talked about the importance of the story, but that for me was probably one of the toughest pieces. Is you've got the individual bits, but how do you make sure it flows in a logical story for somebody who doesn't know it yet? And I guess the second biggest challenge is, I had a tutor that once told me this: beware rabbits out of hats. You know it so well, your business inside out and upside down, that you think it makes total sense. You think you've clearly laid out the pathway to your thinking, but a lot of it's in here. So when you look at it on the page, you already know the bit that fills the gap. What you can't see is there a gap? I'm not sure if that was really inarticulate, but
No, that was perfect. Explaining it like it's been your project, it's been in your house, it's been in your hands the entire time. And if you open the door and show somebody, they're gonna be like, well, what's that? What's this? What are you doing over here? Like, well, how do you not know this? Because it's always inside your brain. You're always thinking about it 24/7. So it's beautiful that you're able to take it out and put it in a cohesive story that tells the problem, that tells the solution. It says how it's going to do it, what you're going to do with your investors' money. I think that was a very good part of the pitch deck. Which slide do you feel you had the easiest time writing?
I think the one I had the easiest time writing is why do I want to do it? So what's my purpose? So because I think that is the thing. And funnily enough, I was talking to a client about this just today, and they're like, this is my purpose. And I was like, is it really? Is it the thing that's going to get you out of bed on the really dark days, on the days where you're just like, I've been slogging at this for years and I'm still not going anywhere? It's got to, for me, purpose has got to be about something. It's not just the what you do, or even just the why you do it. Much as I love Simon Sinek personally, it's the who you're doing it for. So who is it you're trying to help? What is it you're trying to do? And for me, therefore, that one was the easy one, which was, I want to help people leave a legacy that they're proud of, because we're all leaving a legacy, whether we like it or not. The second that I come off here, anybody that's listening to this will have a view. They will have a view of who I am. That will be my legacy. And I want to do the best I can to make it one that I'd be proud of. But equally the same, for everybody else, to say we're all doing it. But if we could have somebody help us understand when actually the one that we're leaving isn't the one that we want people to walk away with. So how do we smooth ourselves? I think all of us are miracles. I've said that before, and I'm always reminded of the quote that the saying, not the quote, that diamonds are just rocks that did really well under pressure. And I think that's the piece. All of us are just rocks waiting to be diamonds. We've just got to work out how to navigate through those. And I've seen the power of coaching, but it's very difficult to always guarantee you're going to get a good coach. There's some good ones, there's some unscrupulous ones, and equally, where do you get that consistency? So for me, it's that part that's saying, so this is not to replace coaching. I am a coach. It's not to say we don't do those, but it's to augment it and say, actually, how do you get that support, that advice consistently whenever you want, to help you to overcome whatever challenges, opportunities, or incidents come your way in the day.
Exactly. I love that. Leave your legacy, not just, a product, not just something that will help you in the future. Leave something that will impact others' lives and change how they view, how they do something. That is something that when I talk to a lot of founders, I look for. I look for that passion and not, oh, because I want to make money. Yes, we all want to make money. We all want to impact. But why? Who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for, your future self? I want you to have that person in mind while you're doing your pitch deck. And with that, what would be your advice for someone who is listening, who is just starting their pitch deck? What would you give them?
Oh, such a great question. So I would say if you're just starting out, if you're thinking about your pitch deck, I started mine off on Post-it notes and then just kept moving it around and going, where does this make the story? But be really, really clear on know your purpose, because actually one of the things that I know is that people want to work with people they know, like, and trust. And that's built by having people that have got a similar value set, or that they buy into the why you do it and the who you do it for. I think sometimes we do one part, not the other. So really, really dig in on what that is, why it is you're doing it, and who you're doing it for, and what's going to be the impact. Because I think that really helps the rest of the story flow. Because for me, well, at least I hope it did, for me, what I tried to do was then hold myself to account at every stage to go, does this deliver my purpose, or have I lost my way? And this must be about the 50th iteration of this, because there was lots of times I lost my way. I came back and I was like, that actually doesn't hold true to my purpose. It's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I want to make a difference. I'm doing it because I want to have something that, yes, makes money, but makes enough money that we can then go and provide it to the people that can't afford it, so that you actually can really change people's lives for the better, hopefully. And wouldn't that be a lovely thing to be part of? But yes, I'd need to make money first. So I would say really stick with your purpose. Find a few kind friends that you trust, that are going to be your critical best friend, the person that tells you your bum looks big in it before you go out, not when you've already trotted around all night thinking you're the bee's knees, because that really helps as well. And because they're able to then go, that when you're explaining it to them, they can go, that's not what that slide says. Thanks for that. Right, okay, I can amend it.
Exactly. And that is what navigating the waters is going to do. It's going to create that environment where you feel confident, you feel that you can go out there and pitch and then get some honest feedback. We are going to have Kim join a couple others and review their pitch decks, and then we're going to have each other critique each other. Ask questions like, oh, in one of my meetings, I had this person ask this. Where do you think we should do this? Or how do you think we should show them this? So I think navigating the waters is building that community. And if you want to join and have your pitch deck or have your company presented through navigating the waters, please let us know. We would love to have you. And then please stay in tune with Kim and her journey. She's going to come back. We're not just going to hear her pitch deck and then fingers crossed she made it. We're going to have her come back with what challenges she's come through, what triumphs she's done. We're also going to have her come back and review the other two founders and their pitch deck. So I hope to see you guys all later, and please subscribe so we can follow through all these journeys with the founders while learning what it's like to be a founder and an investor.
Thank you so much. Until next time.
Thank you.